Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's 1 million by 1 million online rendezvous. I'm coming to you live from Silicon Valley. This is Sramana Mitra, founder and CEO of 1 million by 1 million, the first and only global virtual accelerator in the world. Wherever you are, in whatever time zone, I wish you a good day. And I hope you are safe, most of all. The world is in a absolute topsy-turvy mode. So we are trying to, through these broadcasts and roundtables that we are doing, we're trying to, we do this in normal life on a regular basis, and we're trying to preserve normalcy as much as possible and connect with you in different parts of the world. And my intent right now, given the circumstances, is to hear from you, take questions from you, address issues that are concerning you, bothering you, and so on and so forth. So feel free to ask questions in the public chat. And most of all, those of you who are doing startups, running small businesses, if you need to brainstorm about your strategy, whatever that is, whatever strategy element that you are concerned about, whatever strategy element that you are currently facing challenges with, I would request you to come to the 1M by 1M free public roundtables where we do all the mentoring. This week, we're going to be doing our 478th session of these online mentoring. Over 150,000 people have participated. That's the best way for me to help you figure out what would be the right next step for your business. And for that, you need to go to our website, 1mby1m.com, and sign up on the free public roundtables page. If you want to pitch, if you want to bring your project and want to work with me, you need to sign up to pitch. You can also sign up to attend for a session, check out how this thing flows, and then come the next time. Whatever is your wish is fine, but that's my number one guidance to you right now. There is, needless to say, there is obviously tremendous anxiety right now in all of us. We are all concerned about how this thing is going to play out, how long. The timeline is uncertain. I don't know if you watched 60 Minutes on CBS this week. For those of you who have access to American TV shows, you may have seen 60 Minutes on Sunday. They did a very good segment on what is the status of vaccines in coronavirus vaccines in the world. Well, drug companies are working on it, but for a vaccine to go through proper clinical trial and be distributed into the mainstream market, it's still 12 to 18 months. So the timeline looks very, very nerve-wracking. Everybody says that right now it's going to be another couple of months of things getting worse before things get better. There is a chance that the summer heat may tone things down. And however, there's also a chance that in the fall, this virus is going to resurge. So until we get the vaccine in order, unless we get drugs, there is also discussion about a particular drug that also has to go through clinical trials to be cleared for this kind of treatment. So all this is going to take some time. So our, in business-wise, our worries and anxieties and stress and challenges is going to continue for a while. The next 12 to 18 months are likely to be very, very challenging. So how do we navigate these times is going to be an issue, and it's going to be very case by case. I don't want to give you a bunch of generalities. The market is full of generalities. There are tons of people telling you to preserve cash. Well, it's easier said than done, right? bills have to be paid and business has to go on. So that's not so easy to do. You have to do it anyway. We have to do it anyway. But I would rather actually work specifically on your particular situation, and for that, the best forum would be our free public roundtables. So in these sessions, today's session, I'll do the same thing that I've been doing at most of these sessions, which is answer questions that we get in other forums and this one. We monitor very carefully what questions you're asking, what questions are on your mind, and we try to pick those up, curate them, and answer them in due course. So we will go to our first question. And actually, there are a couple of coronavirus-related questions that I chose to answer first. The first of these is, what are your top 5 predictions on the after effects of the coronavirus in America and Europe? Well, I think you know this. Society will go through some lasting behavioral changes that would have otherwise taken much, much, much longer to take hold. The first of these is working from home, including for larger companies, is a trend that is here to stay. I work from home. I've been working from home for 20 years. I like working from home. My whole team works from home. But I think in general, this trend is going to broaden and penetrate deep into business and economics. Startups, small businesses operating as virtual companies is also going to become a trend, much bigger trend than it is now. It's already, there are virtual companies. We are a virtual company, but I think this is going to be much, much, much bigger. And frankly, we operate already as a virtual company, so our workflow has experienced zero disruption in this, as far as this perspective is concerned. Other aspects of our business development and so forth have experienced disruption, but the general workflow of working from home as a virtual company versus working from an office, that has suffered no disruption at all. And I actually think it's a wonderful, productive way to work. With one caveat: if you have a small place and if you have small children and a lot of people living in one place, it's not so easy to work from home. So, you know, there is of course going to be a balance to be struck here. The second prediction I have is about the gig economy and the Uber, Lyft, DoorDash, and all these people. They lose their appeal a bit because, you know, the labor force is getting clobbered in this recession. People who make a living of driving Uber or Lyft are having a very hard time finding passengers right now because people don't want to get into an Uber or Lyft, knowing that a driver is driving all kinds of people without any ability to check if the passengers are infected. And these people are going to get infected themselves. And are they going to stay at home and take rest and recover? Or are they going to continue driving because they have no other way to make money? So there are huge question marks around the gig economy. This directly impacts the startup ecosystem and the technology world. And because these have been very valuable companies, big unicorn companies, this is going to be an issue. On the other hand, you know, the deliveries, the people who are doing deliveries right now, you know, food delivery, grocery delivery, there are lots of job openings. I think Amazon is planning to hire 100,000 people to work in their warehouses and delivery ecosystem. Walmart has said that they're going to hire 150,000 people. So, and in every country, you know, food delivery, grocery delivery is now a big issue. So there are, you know, multiple sides to the coin. The third prediction I have is I think a universal healthcare safety net could get fast-tracked. You know, some countries have it. in Europe especially, there is more universal healthcare available. America doesn't have it, and a lot of countries don't have it. So I think public health is going to become a much bigger concern for people. And as a result, I think universal healthcare becoming a necessity is going to be much higher in the consciousness of politicians as well as the public. So similarly, my point number 4, prediction number 4, is about universal basic income. That's also under discussion. The stimulus that the US Congress is working on right now is giving cash to the population. And this may be a precursor to universal basic income, because we are going into, whichever way you look at it, we are going into periods of 20-30% unemployment. Right now, the unemployment is under 3%, which has been the best of known times. So from there, from 3% unemployment, if we go to 20-30% unemployment, how are we going to deal with that? This is a massive question. It's obviously tanking the economy. We are not only going into a recession, we may be going into a depression, who knows? This is unprecedented. So this crisis may precipitate social safety net both on the healthcare side as well as on the economic side that would have been very difficult to get to through normal political processes. Of course, brick and mortar retail will lose further customers to online shopping. As it is, online shopping has been growing and growing and growing for many years now. This is going to be a massive inflection point where online shopping becomes much more of the order of the day. Of course, this is going to change the nature of our cities and downtowns. We are used to having downtowns that have nice little shops and boutiques and restaurants and so forth. So if people are going to want food delivered to their homes and shopping done from the house, how are these brick and mortar small businesses going to survive? They will not survive. So again, big changes coming. The scale of suffering will be massive. And coupled with massive automation that is already in motion, the unemployment rate is going to go to uncharted territory. And that's deeply concerning, deeply disheartening, and very scary. There is one other topic that is a much bigger topic that is also going to be, that is part of my top 5 predictions, even though I've already done 5. It's that, the reason China was able to manage their situation so tightly is because of their ability to look at what people are doing. Their surveillance systems are incredibly pervasive. The Western democracies, or most social liberal democracies, do not have this kind of surveillance capability. India, which is not a Western democracy, but it is a liberal democracy, does not have this kind of monitoring capability, surveillance capability. So as a result, we are going to have a much harder time. However, there will be big debates in the post-coronavirus era on how much of this surveillance society needs to be able to survive this kind of situation. So that's my answer to the top 5 prediction on the effects of coronavirus. A related question is, what types of businesses will thrive in the coronavirus era? Well, there will be businesses that will thrive. The biggest beneficiaries, I think, would be the drug companies that come up with the vaccines and the treatment drugs. Medical supplies would also benefit, because the society needs a lot more medical supplies right now, and all the manufacturers are on overdrive. Um, and in fact, unrelated businesses are now producing medical supplies. Tesla is going to build probably ventilators and so on and so forth. GM is going to build ventilators. So they're putting their manufacturing capabilities to work to do this. But generally, I think medical supplies is a category that is in big demand. E-commerce, as I talked about earlier, would benefit tremendously, especially the essentials like groceries, daily needs. Video conferencing, what we're doing here, video conferencing vendors like Zoom would thrive. There's a company called On24. I don't know if you're familiar with them. They have a virtual conferencing product. Company after company is canceling their trade shows and conferences right now, and they're doing virtual events. So you need a platform to do virtual conferencing. On24 has such a platform, and there are some smaller companies who have that platform. So that's in big demand at the moment. Online entertainment is in very big demand. People are bored. People are stuck at home. Netflix is going gangbusters. People are streaming like crazy, and all related categories, all related companies, Hulu and Disney and everybody. So yeah, it's not all bad from a business point of view. There are people who are benefiting in these horrible times. The third question that I'm going to take is, what is your opinion of failing is not bad? It's a way to learn for entrepreneurs. Well, you generally learn more from failures than from success. So yes, failing isn't so bad. However, you shouldn't plan for failure. You should try to maximize the probability of success. But if you fail, try to have the right attitude about it. Do a thorough postmortem. We have a pretty robust proven methodology in 1M by 1M. You can study the methodology and see what you've done differently, learn how to avoid common avoidable mistakes, and then start over. If you're tired, get some rest. Don't start another company right away. However, while you are resting, you can study and do the postmortem, the introspection, and that's how failure is beneficial to learning. Now, I am answering this question against the backdrop of a very troublesome time. I have myself gone through several cycles. In 2020, the dot-com crash happened. I was the CEO of a company at the time, and we did not make it. We had to shut down. Our $10 million term sheet fell through. We couldn't carry on. I've gone through 9/11. A lot of companies suffered terribly in the aftermath of 9/11. I have seen the 2008 financial crisis. So a lot of people suffered and failed because of these macroeconomic issues. And what can you learn from macroeconomic issues? My learning from my macroeconomic trend observation is that companies that spend a lot of money, companies that have the habit of being high burn rate companies, they spend a lot, and they spend a lot ahead of the revenue coming in. They're heavily funded, and their investors have encouraged them to develop a culture of high spending. And when this kind of situation happens, macro road bumps happen. This is not even a road bump. This is like a tsunami. This macro tsunami happens. Funding dries up. It's very difficult to close funding in this kind of macro tsunami environment. So in these scenarios, companies that have a culture of bootstrapping, have a culture of being capital efficient and not spending gratuitously, do better because they have the habit of frugality. Frugality is very, very, very important to survive these kinds of times. And you have to survive. You may have grandiose visions about your company, I have a pretty grand vision for 1 million by 1 million, but what is my current priority? My current priority is to make sure that 1 million by 1 million can survive. There are no two ways about it. And you have to think about it, think about your businesses exactly like that. Survival is sexy. But if you don't survive, you won't be able to do anything, you know? So be very pragmatic, be very frugal, be very capital efficient, and have to stretch your runway as much as possible right now. Then I have a question. What would you do if you were running a venture capital fund? There are so many. How would you differentiate? This is not a question necessarily related to coronavirus, but I'll just give you a general answer, which is, how do you differentiate any product or service? You position to address a gap. Where are the gaps right now in startup investing? I would say pre-seed investing is relatively underserved. The Series A gap is a real issue, the gap between seed and Series A. Non-unicorn investment opportunities is an underserved area. All the VCs chase unicorns, and there's been a class of micro VCs that have emerged that are trying to go after non-unicorn investment opportunities where they seek early exit. We'll get to early exit questions in a moment. And similarly, you could look for sector-related gaps, sectors that are underserved. And in the context of coronavirus and the time that we are in right now, there will be lots of great investment opportunities because there are a lot of good companies, good solid companies that are going to get stuck in this, dry, funding dried up kind of environment. So if you have a fund that has dry powder, you can go find excellent companies and be able to invest in them in very, very favorable terms. So in a way, for a venture capital fund that has the nerve right now to keep investing, you will find wonderful investment opportunities. In our portfolio, there are companies that are very good companies that would need to raise money and are going to have a difficult time raising money just because that is the nature of the business right now. That is what's happening right now. And we have to go through this period without losing our cool, basically. Right now, being calm is cool. On television, very often, you may have seen the face of Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York. Very calm, very steady. He's, shepherding New York, leading New York with a very steady hand. And that's incredibly sexy because that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for nervousness. We're not looking for jitter. We're looking for somebody who can remain calm and, navigate this tremendously turbulent weather. You want a captain of your plane who knows how to fly through a terrible thunderstorm, and that's what's happening. So both entrepreneurs and VCs who have that steadiness, that calm, will do well. So we're talking about capital efficient companies and non-unicorn strategies, and I just want to answer a couple of questions on that topic, because you do have the option of seeking exits, bootstrapping all the way to exit. So if you're in a situation where you have customers, you have product market fit, and you have strategic companies that may be interested in acquiring you, that is a viable option. The question is, can you discuss the buy side of bootstrapping to exit? Why are companies looking to buy bootstrap companies? That's really the question. So the psychology of the bootstrapping to exit phenomenon is what I want to discuss. There are several factors that play into a relatively larger company acquiring a smaller player. The first issue is financial. Companies acquire for different reasons. Some acquire to bring in substantial chunks of high growth revenue. Some acquire to bring in adjacent products that their sales force and channel can upsell to existing customers. Some acquire to diversify out of a one-trick pony situation. Sellers need to consider the buyer's psychology and accordingly steer the conversation. Valuations vary significantly depending on the motivations. Revenue-driven acquisitions tend to be easier to put a price on. Valuations tend to be a multiple of the revenue, regardless of how much money the company has raised. Strategic acquisitions tend to be more complex to value. They resemble the thought process of a VC. If I acquire your company, how much additional TAM does that open up for me? Can I leverage my sales force and channel and push your products through them? How much additional engineering is needed before we go to revenue? Have you raised too much money, making the valuation expectations of your investors irrational? So that's the financial aspect of bootstrapping to exit. Technology is, of course, another major factor. Today, products are built on technology stacks that are often incompatible. This makes merger integrations very challenging. Take, for example, a SaaS company acquiring another that is on a different technology stack. What is the cost of rationalizing the two stacks post-acquisition? Is there enough ROI post-rationalization to go ahead with the transaction? This also points to the fact that if you build on a compatible stack with an eye towards a B2E, bootstrapping to exit situation, your chances of finding a successful exit would be higher. Salesforce.com's platform as a service strategy is a very, very good example. Numerous startups built on this stack have been built on this stack, and it has been easy for Salesforce to acquire and integrate those. The most recent example is Velocity, which was built on Salesforce's stack, acquired for $1.3 billion by Salesforce. Salesforce was also along the way an investor in the company. So this has happened over and over again, and that is a very desirable situation for both the acquirer and the one that is being acquired. So as you design your startup's technology strategy, keep in mind that the technology choices you make will determine whether or not you can find a satisfactory bootstrapping to exit outcome if that is what you are building for. And then culture. Culture matters tremendously. Whether an acquisition can be integrated successfully or not is often the factor of compatible cultures. If you're working with a business built to exit, bootstrapping to exit objective, study the culture of the potential acquirers and make sure you don't get tripped with vastly incompatible dynamics. There are other factors, but these are the top ones. So bootstrapping to exit, here you are. Follow-on question, can you discuss some bootstrapping to exit case studies? Yes, absolutely. We have lots and lots of those case studies. So one of the companies that we track closely is Freshworks, because Freshworks was actually accelerated for the first 3 years in our program. And this company has acquired 9 capital-efficient startups, most of them either bootstrapped or with very small amount of angel financing. And the CEO actually does angel investments himself, and he acquires companies that he has invested in. So all the 9 acquisitions by Freshworks have been for undisclosed amounts. Cloud-based video collaboration platform OneClick, acquired in 2015, was founded in 2012, and had raised an undisclosed seed round from Bloom Ventures and the Chennai Angels in 2014. Very small round though. I'm pretty sure the round was not large. Online social discovery platform Fripp, acquired in 2015, was founded in 2012 and had raised $500,000 in funding from angel investors, including Freshdesk CEO Girish Mathrubootham in August 2014. Freshdesk and Freshworks are the same company. Freshdesk is what they started with and became Freshworks later on. They had an undisclosed venture round with Microsoft Accelerator, had over 100,000 users, another bootstrapping to exit case study. So by bootstrapping, I don't necessarily mean that there is no funding. There may be a little bit of funding. There may be some angel funding, friends and family funding, little micro VC funding. That's all fine. But generally, it's a capital efficient execution, capital efficient funding strategy. There's a app customer support offering Combinator was acquired by Freshworks in 2015, was founded in 2013, and had raised $155,000 in seed capital from Accel, Qualcomm Ventures, and Target Accelerator. The platform supported more than 40 million users and customers such as Zomato, etc. Another online collaboration platform, FrameBench, acquired in 2016, was founded in 2012, had raised seed capital from Bloom Ventures and an angel investor. Small revenue, $16,000 revenue, had about 17,000 customers though, registered customers. Real-time customer support provider Airwood was acquired in 2016, was founded in 2013, had raised angel funding from K Capital in 2013 and some angel investors like Rajan Anandan, who's now at Sequoia. With less than 10 employees, it was estimated to have an annual revenue of $10 million. It has artificial intelligence technology, and this was acquired by Freshworks following Zendesk, their competitor Zendesk, release of the satisfaction prediction feature in March 2016. So then there was social chat platform Chatimity, acquired in 2016, was founded in 2011. It was bootstrapped with less than 10 employees, had over 3 million users. Bangalore-based PipeMonk was acquired by Freshworks in January 2017. It's a data integration platform, had about 2.1 million in funding, had about 400 customers, so on. So, this is, if you go look at my Bootstrapping to Exit case studies article where I covered these, Freshworks is a big acquirer in this mode. Atlassian is a public company, very, very successful public company that has been acquiring extensively from their marketplace and so on. And so that's another company that acquires a lot of bootstrap startups. So I'll stop at that. I think I gave you a flavor of the fact of how this plays out. Okay, I have a question here. Will YCombinator accept applications with only an idea? The first thing you need to check is what is YCombinator's plan under the current situation. I imagine they will try to operate as a virtual accelerator for a while. But in general, though, YCombinator is essentially a seed stage fund, VC fund. Thus, the higher they deem your chance to make their equity investment pay off, the greater will be their interest in your venture. If you can validate your idea before applying, that would be great. You would be using your time at YC better and also maximizing your chances of getting in if you do. You can also join a non-equity based accelerator and get your concept sufficiently fleshed out and ensure that it is fundable and they only accept fundable business ideas. So by the time you get to YCombinator, if you can fully leverage their fundraising assistance. If you do your homework, you only have 3 months to be at YC. So YCombinator's biggest value proposition is its powerful network in Silicon Valley. The program is 3 months, so my advice would be to go into the program with your business validated, your TAM analysis done, most of your strategy worked out, and then use the 3-month window over there to meet investors, iterate, etc. And if you start with a clean slate at YCombinator, you will be wasting your 3-month precious window of opportunity to engage with some of the most high-profile people in Silicon Valley using their network. So, my advice would be work with a non-equity based accelerator first, then apply for YCombinator once you have your ducks lined up. And 1 million by 1 million is a non-equity based accelerator. We do not charge equity. If you decide you want to join us, We'll be very happy to work with you and help you get into YCombinator. Are there any examples? Next question. Are there any examples of successful startups that began with one founder in their basement? Well, basement or not, I don't know, but solo founders I know a lot of. My take is that, by the way, most accelerators will not accept you if you're a solo founder. And in 1 million by 1 million, we welcome you with open arms, because I really believe you always start alone. Are people telling you that solopreneurs do not succeed? Don't believe them. Please do not believe them. You always start alone. In the basement, in the kitchen, in the garage, or wherever the hell you want to work, you always start alone. Sean Broy here is a wonderful entrepreneur, a solopreneur who started Fine Art America alone. It was a marketplace for visual artists who wanted to sell prints of their works. It took him 3 years to get to $1 million. In 5 years, Sean was doing $5 million in revenue with just 3 employees. You always start alone. If you want to discuss more, you can come talk to me during an upcoming roundtable program, and I will give you very specific feedback on what to do with your business, but please don't let being a solopreneur hinder you. Of course, in situations like this, what we're going through right now with so much macro level uncertainty, if you're a solo entrepreneur, I can imagine, I can empathize with the level of anxiety you're feeling. Well, come talk to us. You don't need to feel so alone. We are here supporting entrepreneur after entrepreneur, and we'll be happy to support you as well. There are free roundtables coming up this week and every week actually, that happen online. You can join from anywhere in the world, and we have nothing, absolutely nothing against solo entrepreneurs. We welcome you with open arms. Okay, I think I'm going to go to my last question, which is how can I get feedback from you on my venture? So that's a good segue into our free public roundtables. 1 million by 1 million offers free online mentoring roundtables. These are 100% virtual, free online roundtables where we offer mentoring for entrepreneurs looking to discuss positioning, financing, and every other aspect of building a startup venture. Whatever you want to discuss, you're very welcome. Up to 5 entrepreneurs who registered to pitch will be able to present their businesses in one session, but we have sessions every week. Entrepreneurs will get straightforward feedback, advice on next steps, and answers to questions from me, as well as possibly my frequent guests, CEOs and VCs. You can register to attend, to listen, learn, and join in on the conversations via a live chat. We do these on WebEx. All who register will receive the recording by email the next day. The next session is this Thursday, March 26th. And then there are sessions every Thursday of April. So there are 5 Thursdays in April, April 2nd, 9th, 16th, 23rd, and 30th, 8 a.m. Pacific time. If you go to the Free Public Roundtable tab on our website, you will find the registration links. Please go in and register, and we look forward to seeing you there. Now, those who register to pitch will receive instructions on the preparation required, including a roundtable slides pitch template. We also recommend you use the 1M by 1M self-assessment tool available for free on our website to help prepare to pitch. Many entrepreneurs interested in pitching at the free roundtables have first expanded their knowledge of the essential components of building a startup by joining our monthly 1M by 1M basic program that gives you access to the 1M by 1M digital curriculum available from anywhere in the world. You can access it from anywhere in the world at any time that you like to. If you get stuck on the self-assessment questions, it's a very good idea to go do 1M by 1M basic. Maybe just do it for 30 days and do it intensely. Right now, you have a lot of time. because we are in a very, very slow business cycle, maybe for 2 months, we are going to be in the slow business cycle. So now is a very good time to study and enhance your knowledge. A first time entrepreneur's journey is a tremendously steep learning curve. So it's natural that you have knowledge gaps. It's natural that you feel a bit lost. So I can guarantee you that doing the digital curriculum is going to help you tremendously in even addressing your anxieties, because anxiety gets addressed when you find paths forward. If you get stuck, if you feel stuck, you need to find paths forward of how to remove your obstacles. And this curriculum is very good for that. The free roundtables are very good for that. Use them, and we will do our best to help you with your anxieties, your strategies, and everything else. With that, I will be signing off for today. We'll be back here next week on these platforms, LinkedIn Live, Facebook Live, and Twitter Live. We will, for the foreseeable future, we will do Tuesday morning Pacific time, 8 a.m. broadcasts like these every week. And then we'll do the roundtables on Thursday mornings Pacific time, 8 a.m. So one or the other, or both, are available to you on a weekly basis. Please come, please use the program, and we are here to support you through everything that you will be going through. See you soon. Bye-bye, everybody.